Oh my God, where can I start? This movement has been long overdue for us black folks. And the reason why I say that, it's been so much police brutality going on, and it seems like nothing is ever done about it. But right now, I feel a little bit better than I used to feel because some of these people didn't have to die the way they died in the back of a car or dragged into the police station or beaten up in the cell or what have you. Everybody, how can I put it? Everybody lives matter. But it seems here lately, the black lives has been murdered. People's murdered just at a record number. And sometimes I feel that some of these polices are getting extra money to kill the black folks. That's how I feel because it's too much and it's too much going on. And yes, when I see that stuff, I do get upset. But right now, I'm very glad that they began to revisit certain things about murder, and I'm so glad for George Floyd. He didn't have to die in vain. They're looking at revamping some things and making things happen for us, and I am so glad for that. I was so happy, but he didn't have to die when he died.
I feel like the Black Lives Matter movement is justifiable and has been long overdue. I feel like in the instance of everything that's been going on with the volatility of all of the injustices that have taken place within the black community, I feel like the movement has shifted. I feel like the movement has begun in a major way. I feel like the movement is necessary to be able to reach those who are and have been otherwise oblivious to what the black community goes through on a daily basis. And I hate that the death of George Floyd had to be the catalyst for all of it. But if it wasn't for the young woman who had the courage enough to be able to film and showcase that tragedy to the world, I feel like it would have been swept under the rug, just like a lot of other lives have been swept under the rug in this case. So now is the time, now is the place, now is the perfect season for the injustices to be brought to light and to be solved with the punishing of those who committed these atrocities.
My name is Jirai, and I will be reciting a poem for you. It helps to look at old front page headlines by Marilyn Nelson. The earthquakes, the militias, history hairpins and switchbacks like a mountain road. Things fall apart, no doubt, but good people awake every day today and to ask what they can do today to make things better. People call things back together when they decide to work on behalf of our planet and all life. Spending with us on her around the sun. Worrying only wastes our limited time and darkens our skies with cumulonimbus clouds. All that we can do is hold faith and go on. leaving our tiny footprints on history. Today's acts of good will change tomorrow's. Good will win. Good is in control.
That's it? Beautiful. Beautiful.
I have a lot of thoughts about the Black Lives Matter movement. I think it's very necessary, at least from my viewpoint. It started out of a few years ago from police brutality and injustices that a lot of people have been facing across the country. I think that police brutality is a large issue in our country. Largely with the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like we need to reshift the focus towards reparations and, getting financial compensation for 300 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, 80 years, 90 years, what is it, redlining? Just the list, the entire list. I feel like the media wants us to focus on police brutality and the police shootings, you know what I'm saying? I think that's missing the underlay for the overplay. I think we need to keep all that Black Lives Matter energy and marching, shutting down freeways, shutting down any transportation until we get our checks. That's how I feel about Black Lives Matter movement. I think it's great. Now it's time to make that next step. Oh, let's talk about reparations, peacefully. We're not going to burn down no buildings. We're not going to do nothing crazy. We're about to show up peacefully and demand our checks. So that's how I feel, man. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think the Black Lives Matter movement has been a long time coming. My age being 56, it's one of those things where I was born during the riots. I've known about the Black history and things of that nature about how we have been oppressed, but then the Black Lives Matter movement has been, to me, that straw that broke the camel's back. Like, now, we are now doing what Martin Luther King and John Lewis and them did years ago, but in a new form and fashion with a younger, group of protesters. So I do believe that is something that will come out of it in a beautiful way for Black people in all of America. Well, I won't have an extensive knowledge because I was 3 years old at the time. But I grew up off of Grand River and Petoskey. So basically Drury Road and Petoskey. So I grew up in the heart of it. But in my growing up, in my days of being over there as a little kid and growing up to 6 years old before we moved, it was, as much of it as some people would say was dilapidated, it was a essence of Blackness that was still there. Like, to be able to walk the streets and not fear, your neighbors or not worry about, who's looking at you. It was more about those people who were in the riots, who were part of the riots, and who survived the riots, who taught me how to be a great Black man. Honestly, it was something that just really made me become the man who I am today. And I try to pass that on. I try to, pay it forward. So growing up over there at that time, to me, is a secret blessing in my life.
I feel that it's very important because the police brutality has been happening for years, but I also believe that some people sometimes take it to the extreme, where there was an incident here not too long ago where a police officer shot a Black man. But the reason why he shot the Black man, because when he was arresting his friend, the guy pulled out a gun on the officer and tried to kill him and shoot him in the head, but luckily he missed his shots, and then obviously the officer shot him down. But I feel like it does matter and it needs to be solved. experience here. I was born in Marshtown, Tennessee, and moved over here growing up. So I've been here ever since then, and I've been loving like going to school, meeting people, and everything like that. It's been a chill vibe. The media tries to make it seem like Detroit's a bad place when it's not, and if they actually live here, then they'll actually know the experience that everybody has to deal with here. My family, especially my mama, she's always on my head 24/7. We might argue in and there, but we always come to agreement, and she pushes me every day to be the best man I can be.
Good. And action.
Black Lives Matter movement is what's there. I guess it's like the world is really seeing how Black lives is really mattering to people, especially with the George Floyd's death that just happened recently. Because Black people, we've been killed for so many years, and it's just like people are really now realizing like Black lives really matter. Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. Well, basically, like, how can we make the world a better place? It's about, like, showing yourself as a leader. And basically, I'm a leader. I used to be a follower when I was little, but then, like, when certain things started happening to me, like, I've been doing, like, my own little talks on social media. I had, like, realized certain things in life that I want to do. So basically, like, to make the world a better place is, you know, to be a leader. Like, show yourself who you truly are. And, you know, like, teach people certain things. Like, talk about certain things with people. And then, you know, like, just lead. Just lead.
Great. Good. And action.
The Black Lives Matter movement is a very important thing, but I believe as a young black woman, we can't have our lives matter until we stop this black on black crime. I am full supportive for this movement, but I want us as brothers and sisters to come together as a unit and stop killing our young, and the police department, it does need a lot of work to go through, but our lives really matter. So we need to stop this black on black crime before we worry about anything else. I believe since my criminal justice major, I want to be able to help our young community. I will gladly volunteer my time whenever needed. I believe myself as a leader, so I want to lead our young folks into a better days. I want us to be able to come together as a community and feel safe among each other before we have any problems or anything like that. I want us to feel like we can go anywhere. We can go to the mall, we can go to the movies and not have to worry about anything. So I would like to start my own movement if possible one day when I'm able to fund anything, volunteer my time to criminal justice, anything. I would love to start my own movement one day.
Beautiful.